I'm tired tonight. I need to take out the garbage and the recycle. Tomorrow morning, I have to watch Lainey for a little while because Caitlin has an appointment. Um, haven't entirely settled on new baby's name. I have an idea, but and we'll see. Um, haven't made any progress here. I need to keep reading. I also have, I'm not closing this document, which is this other book that I'm in the middle of reading. Does it tell me the name of it? The Dark Side of Democracy. The relationship between democracy and ethno-nationalism, or more specifically, ethnic cleansing in modern times. Obviously, that's a very interesting subject because early in my videos, early and often, I talked about democracy being an important step forward. Anyway, so busy day at work. I might just cut this short and do a little more work. It just seems like so much. It just seems like a lot to do and think about. So I'm in the middle of reading two books, one on my phone and one paper, and then I also have to read. I subscribe to Pancho's Patreon, where he's putting out what he calls, I think, serialized horror fiction that's somewhat leftist, I guess. But I decided I would support him with a minor subscription, and I want to read because I think that reading the content would be more supportive than sending him a couple bucks a month. So I should do that. I entertained the thought of going back and playing more Metal Gear Solid 5 or Death Stranding recently, but I don't see that on the horizon. And career. I feel like there's a resurgence of the conversation of career in my head, and that's because opportunities come and go, and it really makes me wonder, well, what is it that I'm aiming for in terms of a career? And sometimes I really feel like I know what I'm doing, and other times I feel like I'm just sort of like lost in the midst of a crossroads that's goes in 30 directions. And sometimes it feels like there's not a bad choice. Other times it feels like there's not a good one. I do get excited about big things. And that's why I'm so incredibly drawn to, the reading that I've been up to recently. It's because I want to know how this works. And unfortunately, I finally hit a nerve, I guess, that we don't know, really. I say that like in a position of relative ignorance, though. There are people a lot smarter than me who might say, well, we don't really know, but they're saying it from an informed position, and I'm saying it from a hobbyist position, I guess. You could consider me a hobbyist in statecraft, or what do you even call this? Societal theory? There's a question about whether it's important to make the world a better place, whether it's important to ensure that more people have enough, whether it's important to fight against uh, increasing homelessness, joblessness, health carelessness, increasing poverty, uh, increasing tensions about things like war and violence and racism. Um, I mean, obviously the answer is you have to. I was watching the end of one of the ending scenes in Death Stranding on YouTube the other day, yesterday night. One of the characters toward the end was saying how absolutely terrified he was when he became a father. And then looking back, he said, no, he was wrong. Being a father didn't make him afraid. Being a father made him brave. And I can't tell you how much that's true. I'm not more afraid than I used to be as a father because the world got scarier. I got more afraid when I became a father because my role in making it better became more urgent and important and dire. And so things that I didn't feel were my responsibility to solve suddenly very much feel like they're my responsibility to solve because I have to. I have a stake in the future. I'm invested. I have to. Feel like I should do some work before I crash. Or, I mean, it's not like I've been waking up right. I need to, I don't know, all the alarms and all the coffee in the world doesn't seem to be enough. So maybe I should catch up. And by catch up, I mean get ahead. I don't know. There's always more to do. And I don't have really a good means of pacing myself because I'm in a fairly dynamic environment. The expectations sometimes are nothing and sometimes are everything. And it's really hard to, like, it's, stumbling around in the dark, trying to figure out where am I heading? What am I near? What am I trying to accomplish? Is there anything out there that my current tasks relate to? And then all of a sudden you hit smack dab into a wall, like, shoot. There's a whole bunch of something here, and that hurts. I think I'm in a good career position, but it's not one of those situations that I am just going to be able to glide, nor am I the type of person to want to just glide. I'm the person who wants more responsibility, more opportunity, more progress, more straight speech about solving bigger problems that mean something. And then, sometimes things get so much. Sometimes everything is so much that you're like, you know what? I don't think I can throw the whole world on my shoulders. I think it would be enough to worry about myself. I think all that really matters is that I get the next couple of promotions lined up. But I don't really believe that. Like I've tried thinking that way, and it doesn't take. I don't care. I'm fine. I do always want to take a bigger bite out of a bigger problem, and even if it sinks me, it's fine. But trying to lead myself by the nose in terms of, some sort of material career progression. I mean, right now it's a little bit on my mind only because I like it here in Maryland. I like this house. I don't want to shake up what we've got going on here, but what if I'm needed somewhere else? I can't have two places. That's not tenable with a wife and two kids. So we just make it work. We just, I definitely can make things work. I'm not in a problem situation. I could easily put myself in a problem situation given how much I felt recently that I need to be doing more for so many more people. But I guess you have to be strategic about it. Do you? Do you have to be strategic about it? Or is that the one area, is giving and loving and caring and selflessness the one area that you can always afford to be reckless? And again, that calculus is based on what is my role as a father? My role as a father is to my family, because the investment I have in the future is my daughter, my daughters soon. But it's not just about putting everything into them. I don't want them to be, the one good part of a terrible world. I want them to enjoy a great world. Um, and I don't seem to be necessarily hooked into anything right now that is allowing me to make a significant material impact on that, which bothers me. I feel like I do a lot of learning and I feel like I do a lot of talking. So as far as passing and shaping messages and ideologies, sure, I am a broker of ideological power. Absolutely. That's who I like to be. But that's all well and good. Things still need to be done. So I'm debating whether or not it makes sense for me to try to move from just dealing in ideology to dealing in ideology and maybe, trying to support some people, which I've been dabbling in, or beyond that, trying to participate in some minor mechanisms of communicating and interacting with institutions that are meant to interact with me. It feels really flimsy and phony to, I mean, it is the way things work, I guess, to write to your representatives and send them paper letters and send them emails and call their offices and tweet, at them on Twitter or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what people do. I don't know what people do, but I know that the more people that do it, the less meaning it probably has, right? Well, no, that's not the case. That's not necessarily the case. Um, Somebody could see, oh shoot, I got a lot of letters today. Maybe this represents a change in my constituency, or a potential change in the outcome of an election. But financing and elections are correlated, not letters received and elections. What meaningful means of interaction with your institutions and your representatives actually change outcomes? One thing that I'm reading that has an effect on what ends up happening in the world is organizers. Organizers can, draw donations, fill buses, move people, hold rallies, incite emotions, elicit violence. Like, that's kind of terrifying. Hmm. I wish I knew more about this human experience. I don't really get it. It's the most naive thing in the world, right? To say, why can't we all just get along? But the more I try to understand what we are and what we're doing and how we're doing it and why, I, that question never goes away. It might be the most basic, most ignorant question, but it's also the most profound one. Can't we all just get along? I mean, I guess the answer is no. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough to know. One thing that I'm learning from these events is how much victors write history, right? How much the official version of something can go from being, I mean, almost in real time, go from being your personal experience to a headline that made you laugh the first time you saw it. I'm like, come on, that's not what's happening. And then, a week later, a half a week later, it's like, oh, I guess that's what we've decided is happening. And wow, the effort that you have to go to end up being a minor character in the pantheon of the you know global culture. With you think Che would have been on a T-shirt at Hot Topic if he wasn't successful? And do you think that there would have been such a profound relationship between the church and state in Europe if not for the fact that Christ was so successful at rallying against the centralized power of the church? Well, the temple. Hmm. Jesus really said some cool stuff. And it has to be the answer. The answer has to be our individual behaviors toward one another and attitudes toward one another. And that has to stick. Um, always do good to one another. Always forgive one another. Always lift one another up. Quick to help. Slow to judge. And when somebody acts out, just don't participate and point at it and say it's there. And when it gets revealed for what it is, don't participate in trying to sweep it under the rug. It is what it is. And sometimes there's hell to pay for not doing right by one another. And that helps us all learn and grow. Helps us learn to be better to one another, because not only do we get to enjoy fellowship, but then we also see what happens when you turn your knives out to everyone. That's important for us to learn those lessons as a group, as a culture. I don't know. Anything in large enough numbers is magic. And humans, you can't even figure out on a single individual basis. So put those in incalculably large numbers, and who knows? Who knows? It's all just, well, what happened last time, right? It's all just precedent. There's no formula for an individual human or a group of people. I don't think. Well, I mean, there's some general trends, I guess. Put enough pressure and you'll get pressure back. Take away resources and they will take the resources. That kind of thing. But I have no idea what the key is in terms of acting properly and consistently as an individual and a functioning and consistent collective. I don't know. I just don't know. Hopefully, there will be some future version of me that will be looking at this and thinking it's actually quite simple. You just need to read a couple more books. Maybe not like 3 more, but a couple hundred more books, and you'll get it. It's out there. Hopefully, a lot of humans have thought and said and written a lot of things. It would behoove me to read them if I cared about actually answering these questions. I'm doing my best. Someday, the kids will be grown, and God willing, we'll all still be okay, and I'll have some books in a place I can read them in some time. But anyway, in the meantime, I've got to think about my 10 years in the sun. Meaningfully advancing something through brute force and intelligence at times. Strategy. Being light on my feet and delivering force where needed. For at least a decade. Maybe 3. Am I biting off the right sides of a problem? Sometimes it feels too big. Sometimes it feels too small. It's a good sign. Am I doing it for the right reasons? I don't feel particularly in over my head or overboard selfish about how I'm going about things. I'm not trying to go schmooze big money to get them to believe that I'm some savant. I'm trying to deliver innovation in the public sphere. I feel good about that. I feel especially good about the fact that I'd like to tie my work more toward what are the problems experienced by the people for whom the services I provide serve, ultimately, which are all of us. If the average person doesn't want it, I shouldn't be doing it, right? So how do you connect that user experience pipeline a little better? Because you never know. If the things that you're being told to do come from over the horizon, then Somebody out there provided these needs, requests. I assume everything's hooked up properly. I don't know. I don't see it. I'd like to see it. Speaking of government not functioning, I saw an article today that said that in Nevada they were starting to slice up the land to give to companies so they could run their own local governments. So I guess the actual sizing up and slicing up has begun. All right, I'm just talking to myself. I'm always talking to myself. All right, I think that's good though for tonight, and have a good one, I guess.